Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another installment of the Ball Oasis Show. Y'all, this is going to be a fairly short episode this week, as not much to talk about. I think that there aren't really many, very many big storylines that have come up the past week that are worth mentioning on this show. We've seen some teams get hot. I think that the homework that Jacob encouraged me to give in the last episode was very good with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander having some huge, huge moments over the past week. But outside of that, we've seen some teams like the Utah Jazz, keep up their crazy run, winning back-to-back against two of the top teams in the Western Conference, against Phoenix and Portland, with Lowry Bird leading the charge, Lowry Markkinen playing absolutely out of his mind. But outside of that, I don't think that there's been anything super out of the norm. The Lakers have been winning some games lately, and so have the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah.
Um, we'll bring Brooklyn back up in a few minutes, but I really wanted this episode today to unfortunately be centered around the injuries that we have seen so far this young season. We know that every NBA season is going to have its fair share of injuries. Coming into the season, we had guys who we knew were going to miss some time, but it really just feels like over these first few weeks that we've seen a lot of guys, miss a lot of time with new injuries. And I just went through the injury report today and I made a list of all the big name guys who are already on the injury report and are going to be there for at least the next couple of days extended. So just going down the list, we got John Morant, Damian Lillard, Desmond Bain, Cade Cunningham, LaMelo Ball, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, LeBron James, Tyler Hero, Jimmy Butler, Chris Middleton, Paolo Banchero, Tyrese Maxey, James Harden, Joel Embiid, Chris Paul, Pascal Siakam, and Bradley Beal. I'm out of breath from just saying all these names. It's so crazy, so unfortunate that we're only about a month into the season and all these guys are going to miss at least a few games, and some are going to miss more than others, Jacob. We know that every season, like I said, is going to bring its fair share of injuries. But I know that your team specifically has been one who's been really, really hit by it early on. So, just what does that do for a team early in the season, do you think, who's trying to find its momentum? With a team, especially like Philly, who's brought in a lot of new pieces, how do you think that affects the camaraderie and the chemistry of that team early on?
Yeah. We have a lot of new guys. Trez, D'Anthony, PJ. But I think our biggest thing, I think we've talked about on here, was chemistry at the beginning of the season,
Right.
and finding their way, find their footing. And it's not helping that we have players out almost every night. At least one or two guys out. James Harden's been out, I think, 2 weeks now. I think he has another few weeks. Max is out 3 to 4 weeks. Joel's day to day. Tobias was hurt the other day. So that's four of our starters right there that's missed time. And pushing for a championship, obviously not the start they want. I think we're 8-8 right now. Injuries have been a part of that, but also just chemistry and everything. Like it's like we said, it's a lot of injuries this year, and some just coming at the worst time, I guess.
Yeah, I think we've seen too a trend where the healthiest teams so far have been the teams who have kind of
Been
made
towards
their way up to the top.
Yeah,
Teams like I think about like the Boston Celtics, who are really only missing Robert Williams in their rotation, or teams like the Utah Jazz and teams like Phoenix, who are missing Cam Johnson, of course. But outside of that, well, Chris Paul too. I guess Phoenix is kind of it doesn't really fit that criteria. But Utah and teams like who else is towards the top? Portland was up there when Dame
yeah,
was healthy for the most part, and the Grizzlies were before the injuries to John Morant and Desmond Bain. You see the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks are towards the top of the Eastern Conference. They haven't really dealt with any big injuries yet. So we've seen injuries really kind of take shape and really affect a lot of good teams here early on. And I think about some of the longer lasting injuries like a James Harden or like a Cade Cunningham or like a Jimmy Butler who's going to miss the entire road trip that the Heat are about to go on.
yeah,
These are guys who were primed to have all-star seasons, and with them missing extended time, it's going to open the door for a lot of guys to potentially snag some all-star spots that haven't really been there before. So injuries have played a big role early on, unfortunately. We have seen some guys come back. We see Kawhi Leonard has made his way back. We've seen Jared Jackson Jr. make his way back much sooner than expected.
Yeah.
We've seen, who else? We saw, I just had a name in my head. Anthony Davis, I guess, has kind of beat the injury allegations so far. He's been really good these past few games for the Lakers, albeit they've played weaker competition, of course. But Anthony Davis has looked really good, and hopefully he can stay healthy. Who else? Who else can you think of, Jacob? I know Darius Garland too. Darius Garland's made his way back.
Yeah, I would say he missed 5 games. I know John Wall's in and out, but I think that's like risks. I think. Yeah. But I think he sits out every other game. I think. I don't think I can think of any more besides that.
Yeah.
Not any major ones.
Yeah, it seems like health is wealth. Another team that I was going to bring up who's kind of benefited from that, who hasn't really had any injuries, and albeit they're not a very good team in a lot of people's eyes, yet they come into the night. I think they won tonight, so their record is now 10-6. It's the Indiana Pacers. The Indiana Pacers they're gonna be my homework team of the week already. I went ahead and I made that my homework team of the week. The Indiana Pacers don't have a whole lot of appeal if you're a casual watcher, I guess. But if you watch this show, either you know us or you're not a casual basketball watcher. So if you're not a casual, tune into the Pacers because they play some fun basketball. They get up and down the court really quick. Tyrese Halliburton leading the league in assists at over 10 assists a game. He should be an all-star. He should be an all-star this season as he's averaging about 22 and 10. The Pacers are 10-6, which is pretty crazy to say. But they've got the rookie Ben Mathurin, who's played really, really well early on. Miles Turner's had some good games, and we know that him and Buddy Hield are likely to be traded at some point. But while they're there, they've been pretty good for the Pacers so far, who we kind of cast off as the worst team in the Eastern Conference coming into the season. Jacob, have you tuned into the Pacers at all this season?
I've watched them some. I've been watching the Kings a lot lately.
True.
I think 9-2 over the last 11 games. But when I have watched them, Tyrese he runs that offense really well, and I guess the spacing they have really helps. I don't know how that'll be once Miles Turner and Buddy Hield get traded, if they get traded, which we assume they will. But yeah, I think he'll be an all-star. He should be. I know he should get the votes, but I guess it really depends on how it plays out from now until the All-Star break. But I think he really should get it.
Yeah. Man, I don't know how I forgot about the Kings, but I forgot about the Kings. I want to change it. I want to change my homework team. I'm already inclined to change it. The Beam team is the homework team this week. The Beam team, 9-2. The Sacramento Kings in their last 11 games. They've been playing some really, really good basketball. Their offense is clicking on all cylinders. Malik Monk, Terrence Davis, these guys have come in and given them huge jolts. Off the bench, I know Terrence Davis starts now. Kevin Huerter has shot the ball really well. And Sabonis, rebounding machine. And De'Aaron Fox makes everything go. That team has been really, really good lately. I know that they sit with a record of 9-6 currently. And I believe they play the injury-riddled Memphis Grizzlies tomorrow night. So they've got a chance to make it 7 wins in a row for the Sacramento Kings, who are on their longest winning streak since 2005. Just insane to say.
Yeah, they put up, I think, 137 yesterday. I think they're the second best offense right now. But
I'm sure towards the top now.
But their defense is, I think, the worst or one of the worst. But they put up a lot of points every game. I've been watching them a lot lately. And De'Aaron Fox might get his All-Star nod this year, maybe. But we'll have to see.
Yeah, maybe so. You think about the guards out in the Western Conference for the All-Star game. Let's go through them real quick. We've got Luka Doncic, who's definitely going to be there. We've got Steph Curry, who as long as he's not injured, he'll be there. Ja, who as long as he's not – all these guys, if they're not injured, they'll be there. Devin Booker will be there. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander looks like he's going to be there.
Yeah.
Who else? We did say Desmond Bane. He's looked like an all-star so far.
Dame?
7 or 8 guards. I would say based off his numbers, Dame is still an all-star, but he's missed, and he's going to miss another week or two now. So maybe time doesn't vote on his side. But De'Aaron Fox is in that group of guys who could potentially make their way in. Guys like I didn't even mention Paul George. Paul George is listed as a guard, or Brandon Ingram could potentially be listed as a guard. So not Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. De'Aaron Fox is with those guys on that tier. But I'm of the belief if the Kings are above 500, they can't keep him out. They can't keep him out of the All-Star game. I'd
Yeah.
be remiss if I didn't mention Jordan Clarkson with that group too. Jordan Clarkson averaging 23 points a game on the first place Utah Jazz right now. His numbers might not be the greatest, but the Jazz are in first place, so they have to have an all-star somewhere. I guess they could put Lowry in the front court, but I think Jordan Clarkson's been exceptional for them as well. I wanted to talk also about tomorrow. Tomorrow, if you don't know what tomorrow is the return of Ben Simmons to the Wells Fargo Center to play the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, we've all awaited this day. I know you, especially, Jacob, have long awaited this day. And it's a shame that it's going to come with the circumstances that it is, because James Harden, Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, all going to miss the game tomorrow. So, me personally, I think that it is the perfect opportunity for Ben Simmons to just have a game, and whatever form of capacity that is for Ben Simmons. Maybe it's a 16 point, 13 rebound, 12 assist game,
Yeah.
or maybe he goes off for 25, 27 points. Who knows? But in the past few games, Ben Simmons has looked really, really good. Against the Blazers, which was his first really good noticeable game since he's come back from injury, he had Dame in jail. He had Damian Lillard in jail. I watched that entire game, of course, and he looked like his Defensive Player of the Year former self. He looked like that guy in that game. And then on Sunday, I know against the Memphis Grizzlies, he played really well against them too, scoring up over 20 points in that game, and being a big piece of that Brooklyn Nets win. The Nets are playing some better basketball right now. I know defensively they still aren't the greatest, but offensively they look pretty good right now. They've gotten Seth Curry back. They've gotten Joe Harris back. Yuta Watanabe has been shooting the kill off the ball. He's the leader in three-point percentage at 57% on the season, which is insane. But Jacob, I want to hear you talk about this because you're a fan of the opposing team. The arena is going to be hectic. It's going to be insane tomorrow night. What do you think tomorrow is going to look like as a Sixer fan?
I was very excited until the news today that Joel was going to be hurt. Going to miss the game. Because Ben Simmons does run the 5. Not a lot, but occasionally, more than not, I guess. So I was excited to see something Joel against Ben. Now I guess B-ball Paul Reed will be guarding Ben Simmons, so he might, So Ben might have a game, but I do think if something happens to Ben Simmons, he misses a dunk, airballs a free throw, whoever dunks on him, if somebody can dunk on him, that'll be loud. The roof will come off, I guess. It'll be crazy. I think he had an interview the other night. He knows what to expect. Be a lot of foul words and boos and negative chants, but I'm here for it. But I guess we'll have to see. He has ramped up lately, so that might be pretty bad for us. Now, if we win, then I don't know, but I don't see it.
Yeah, I 100% expect Ben Simmons to be super, super motivated coming into this game, especially just playing in that arena. I think Brooklyn being at pretty much full strength too definitely makes them the favorites in that game.
Yeah.
But probably the heavy favorites. But regardless, I'm still tuned in because I think from the jump, from pregame, as soon as he steps foot on the court for shoot around warm-ups, they're going to be in his ear. He's gonna hear it all night, and it's gonna be a crazy scene. I think that it's drawn comparisons to like when LeBron came back to Cleveland, which I think is probably a little bit of a stretch, but we know how hostile those Sixer fans are, and especially with the way that it ended with Ben Simmons, I
Yeah.
don't expect it to be happiness and rainbows and all good times in Philadelphia. I expect it to be, like you said, very loud and very, very foul tomorrow
Yeah.
night.
I think it'll. I think they play at Philadelphia again this year. I'm not real sure.
They're in
Um.
the same division, so they'll play each other in Philadelphia again.
Okay, I'll be looking more forward to that game. I guess in this game tomorrow. Hopefully, we're healthy by then. Because last time KD and Joel kind of went at each other. Not the game they got blown out, but before that. But yeah, it'll be a crazy thing, crazy night.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun, and we'll see how Ben Simmons plays. We'll probably go over it next week. And who knows, maybe it doesn't live up to all the hype because it has been a long time. It has been a long time, it seems like, since Ben Simmons has been out of that situation. It's been about 10 months now. Maybe things have died down, but I'm sure the Philly fans will remember once he steps on the floor.
Yeah, hopefully, Shake Milton will get his 39-point game.
Wishful thinking from a fan's perspective.
Yep.
I respect it. So, like we said, it's probably going to be a shorter episode today. We only have one more segment left. But this is something that the NBA on TNT does, usually the first couple weeks of the season, and it's who he played for. It's called Who He Played For. It's usually lesser known players in the NBA, and we quiz each other to see how tapped in we are about where these players play. I know we talked about it before the show. Jacobs are more geared towards the viewer, I'd say, more casual watchers
Yeah.
will probably recognize some of the names a little better than the guys that I have, as mine are pretty much geared towards Jacob, unfortunately. Sorry about that. But I really wanted to quiz Jacob. I really wanted to go at Jacob in this episode. So this will be interesting. I want you to start though, Jacob. I want you to start with the first name of the who he played for. I'm going 5 for 5 right now. I'm just telling y'all right now. I'm going 5 for 5.
First name I have is James Johnson.
Are you serious?
Yep.
I have James Johnson on my list too.
Uh,
We can't tell each other our list for this because that would be, of course, giving us time before the episode to potentially see where these people play. So, well, I guess that cuts off one for each of us. Unfortunately, we both know that James Johnson plays for the Indiana Pacers.
yeah.
So, man, that's an unfortunate start. Jacob, go ahead and give me your second one, man. Come on.
Yeah,
I hope we don't have any more like this.
I'm gonna have to pull some more players up. My second one I have.
Yeah, we can go on the fly if we have to.
Yeah, my second one I have DeLon Wright.
All right. Why don't I know this off the top of my head? That's embarrassing.
I honestly forgot about him until I watched something and his name got brought up. I was watching the game and his name got brought up.
Why don't I know that off the top of my head? That's really embarrassing, actually. I know in the off season that he was involved with Brooklyn, but I haven't seen him step on the court for Brooklyn. I don't remember if he's injured or not. There are two teams in my head. He either plays for the Brooklyn Nets, or for some reason I think he plays for the Washington Wizards. I don't know why I think that, but my first guess is the Brooklyn Nets. So I gotta go with the Brooklyn Nets.
Nope.
He doesn't play for the Nets. Wow, I tweet.
It's the Wizards.
Yeah, it's the Wizards. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't remember his path, but I know he was involved with something with the Nets in the offseason.
Yeah.
But I did think that I remembered watching a Wizards game and seeing DeLon Wright in the game for a little bit. Man, I tweaked.
I don't
Already.
think he's played much this year, but I'm not too sure about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna slap myself on the neck for that one. That's bad. That's bad on my part. But I guess my first real one for you. We'll start easy. We'll start easy and we'll go to hard. Well, easy from this perspective. You might know this one. I think you might know this one. Matthew Dellavedova. Who does Matthew Dellavedova play for, Jacob?
I hadn't heard that
By the
name.
way, if y'all didn't know, Matthew Dellavedova is still in the NBA. He still gets NBA minutes in 2022. Pretty crazy to say.
I haven't heard that name in a while.
You can ask for a hint if you really want to. I'll give you one hint.
We get one guess, right?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'll take a hint.
All right. He plays on a team with a record over 500. So he plays on a team that has a winning record so far in the season. So he's not on a bum team.
There's a team I'm thinking of, but I don't think he's there. You said he gets like good minutes.
I wouldn't say good minutes. I don't even think he plays in every game, but he has appeared in at least half of the games for this team, I believe, so far in the season.
Something's telling me the Kings, but I don't think that's true. It's not the Kings, is it?
Is that your guess?
Yeah, that's my guess.
Matthew Dellavedova does play for the Sacramento Kings. You got it. Which is he signed there in the offseason, kind of out of nowhere. And yeah, just going through box scores, I haven't seen him on the court much at all this season, really. But he has touched the floor. I think he averages about like 7-8 minutes a game whenever he does get in, like 2 points. So he's just the fact that he's still active in the NBA. I think he's like 34, 35 years old.
Yeah.
It's really funny because I feel like he's one of those players who kind of went out of the league after like the Cavs Warriors finals. So
yeah,
it's
like
really crazy that he's still here.
I've been watching the Kings, but I don't pay attention to like who plays as much. I pay attention to like certain players. Yeah. But I was thinking either the Kings or the Bucks. Glad I went with Kings.
Yeah, he has played for the Bucks before. He played for the Bucks like a year or two ago. That was like his last NBA team.
Okay.
All right, give me your next player.
You should know this one. It's pretty easy.
I should have known the last one.
You should know this one. Corey Joseph.
Okay. I have an instant answer in my head, and I hope that he plays for this team. Because I know that over the past year, he has played for this team. But I'm second-guessing myself because I feel like he was moved in the offseason. It's either the Sacramento Kings or the Detroit Pistons. It's one of those two teams. And I know that he was on the Pistons last year. But why do I think he's on the Kings? I'm just thinking about all the Kings guards, too. You got De'Aaron Fox. You got Davion Mitchell. You got Malik Monk. You got Matthew Dellavedova. You got Terrence Davis. So that doesn't leave much room. So I think I'm overthinking this one a bit. I think Corey Joseph is on the Detroit Pistons.
He is.
Okay. Thank goodness.
I want to say I think he's been there. I think he was there last year. I'm not sure.
He was.
Okay.
I don't know. I know he was on the Kings, I think, in the year after the bubble year. I think that's what I'm thinking about.
Okay.
Because he was sent. Yeah, that's right. He was sent to Detroit in the Marvin Bagley deal. He was sent to Detroit with Marvin Bagley. That's right. Okay. I knew I wasn't tweaking. All right. My next guy. We're gonna get a little harder, Jacob. And by a little harder,
a lot.
This is harder. So
probably end of a bench guy.
This guy, he's had this. I'll go ahead and give you the hint. Actually, he's had a 20-point game this season, so it's not just an absolute scrub. He's had a 20-point game. Eugene Omoyuri. Eugene Omoyuri. If you get this one,
there's two teams.
What do you say?
There's two teams I'm thinking of.
Eugene Omoyuri.
I'm gonna go.
I'll say before, like a week and a half ago, I never heard of this guy before.
Never heard of him. Ooh. I think I'm gonna go with. I don't know.
You said you had two teams. Who are the two teams you're thinking about?
I was thinking Miami and Portland. I think I'm going to go Portland.
Portland? He is not a Portland Trailblazer. He is in the same division as Portland. He is a member of the Oklahoma City Thunder. He plays for OKC, and a week and a half ago, I think he had like a 23-11 game. He's a 6'8", 6'9" forward out of Oregon. That's one of your schools, Jacob. That's why I put him on here. I thought you might know it.
Yeah,
But Eugene Omoyuri, he actually gets like minutes every game. I think he averages like 13, 14 minutes a game. But of course, if you did your homework, you would have known that. But
yeah,
it looks like someone didn't do his homework. That's what it looks like to me. Hit me with the next one, though. I gotta win out. I gotta win out with the rest of these.
I'm trying to think of one off the top. I'm gonna go JT Thor. Pretty easy. It's an easy one.
Okay. Yeah, I know this one. JT Thor plays for the Charlotte Hornets. He plays for the Charlotte Hornets, and I followed him out of Auburn. So
okay.
And I kind of wanted us to pick him in the second round if he was available in the 2021 draft. I think he came in. So I followed him a little bit. I know that he's played a little bit off that Charlotte bench this season. So I did know that one pretty easily.
All right.
Thankfully.
Yeah, trying to think of some more. All right, go ahead.
That was a good one though. I'm sure not a lot of people at home knew where JT Thor was, and a lot of people won't know where this guy is either. You ready for this name?
Yeah.
You might know this one because you probably watched this team a lot. Simone Fontecchio. Simone Fontecchio.
What's the hint? It sounds. I think I have.
A hint? Okay. This player is on a top 4 team in his conference.
Simone.
So he's on one of the best teams in the league.
I forgot what the standings were.
Fontecchio. This is another guy that doesn't really play every game, but he has gotten. I think he's played in every single game over the past 2 weeks. So he does get in the game. He's a if it helps you any, he's a forward. He's a little bit of a sniper. I guess kind of 3-and-D, although his defense isn't great. But he's like a 6'8", 6'9" forward from Europe. Simone Fontecchio.
Would it be? No. Try to run through the top 4 teams real quick.
This is a hard one.
Is it the Phoenix Suns?
It is not the Phoenix Suns. It is the Utah Jazz. Simone Fontecchio plays for the Utah Jazz. Once again, you would have done your homework. You would know this one.
Those are my two. I'm thinking about what's his name. I'm thinking about somebody else on Phoenix.
Jock Lawndale, maybe.
Yeah, I think so. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, Simone Fontecchio. I immediately knew I wanted to put him in here because the Blazers played the Jazz on Saturday night, and he got in the game, and I was like, oh yeah, he's not gonna know this one. He got in the game for I think 7 minutes and attempted 2 threes, and that was pretty much it. So he doesn't see the floor very much, but definitely a name for sure. Simone Fontecchio. Y'all look out for Simone Fontecchio. He might be the next Luka. Hit me with another one off the dome, Jacob.
Off the dome. I think. I don't know if I'm going to pronounce it right. Trevor Hudgins, I think. It's like Hudgins, I think.
Hudgins,
yeah. I've watched. I don't know how much playtime he's got, but I've watched his team some this year. Stuff. So that'd be my hint. I've talked stuff about this team before.
Yeah, I had a team immediately come to my head, and it fits that criteria. But I think I'm gonna narrow it down to two before I pick. The team that immediately came to my head was the Toronto Raptors, and the other team is the. It's not the Boston Celtics. I think I'd know if he played for the Boston Celtics. It's either the Raptors or the maybe the Heat, just because the Heat have had so many guys in and out.
Yeah, they've had a lot of in and out.
I think I'm going to go with the Toronto Raptors though. That was my initial pick.
Mm-mm.
Not the Raptors.
He plays for the Houston Rockets.
Yeah, I was going to get that one. I'm not watching the Rockets play. I'm not watching them.
I've tried. They're fun sometimes, but I can't do it consistently.
Yeah, I'll watch highlights here and there, but yeah, I definitely didn't know that one, and I'm not going to be hard on myself for that one because 99.9% of people don't know what's his name? Trevor Hudgens?
Yeah, Hudgens. Yeah, I said I don't even know how much playtime he's had. It's just I think I was looking at the rosters or something after the box score or something.
Yeah. All right, I'll go ahead and give you my last one, and you can give me one more to end off if you want to. So, this is a name kind of like the last one, where before this season, I'd never heard of this guy before. Really, before about a week and a half ago, once again, I'd never heard of this guy before. Jamal Cain. Jamal Cain is the name for this one.
Cain?
Jamal Cain. And the hint that I'll give you, hang on, I got to think of it. I don't want to make it too obvious.
He's not a rookie, is he?
I don't believe so. I think he's like 25, 26. But he plays on a team where there aren't very many people at his position. I know it sounds kind of vague, but I can't get more in depth than that. I can't do it. Jamal Cain.
Okay, I got.
I'll give you one more like half hint. By our standards, he plays for an underachieving team. By our standards, he plays for an underachieving team. Jamal Cain.
That thought made me think of a team, but we both had him real low. Is it the? I'm not even gonna think of two teams. The New Orleans Pelicans.
It's not the Pelicans. And I didn't want to give you this hint because it was very, very obvious. It's a team who's played with 7 players for like the past week. It's the Miami Heat.
Yeah, sadly, I haven't watched a lot of Miami lately.
Yeah, he plays for the Miami Heat. He's one of the guys that they've brought up from the G like over the past week or two that has had to be forced into play. And I think he's played about like 25 minutes a game just because he's had to because they can't play anybody else. And his numbers aren't great. Like his efficiency numbers aren't good at all that I looked at. But he averages like 8 points and like 9 rebounds. So not bad counting stats, I guess.
I don't know.
That's why I thought you might have heard of him, just because he's had to be on the floor for a little while.
I've watched Miami at the beginning of the season, but when they went down bad, I kind of stopped.
Yeah, understandable.
So
you got one more for me?
Ooh, I'm gonna look this one up so I can make it tricky.
We really overachieved with making it super, super hard for each other. I kind of like that, though. I like being challenged. Just shows us we need to step up our game.
I have to study rosters after tonight. Ooh. I don't know if he's played a lot, but I feel like you would know him. Okay. It's kind of a tricky one, but not really. Justin Penny.
I know the name.
Yeah.
I know the name. Why can't I immediately think of what team he plays for, though? He plays. I did have a team immediately come to my mind. He's in the Eastern Conference, I know for sure.
You want a hint?
Yeah. No, I don't actually. Let me think about it for just a little longer. Because I think I know what team he plays for. Okay, give me the hint.
This might give it away. He also has a brother. In that, I'm not gonna say what conference, but he has a brother that plays.
Yeah. I remember.
I think you know. Yeah.
I remember those names coming out of college. I think they went to a Big East school. So it was either like St. John's or like DePaul or something. But they play in the Atlantic Division, I believe. And so they don't play for the same team though?
Nope.
Oh, this might throw me off then.
It's tricky if you haven't watched, I guess.
Yeah. I haven't watched a lot of this team, but the name that I immediately jumped to, was the Toronto Raptors.
Yeah.
Is it the Toronto Raptors?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he has a brother for Philly, and I didn't know which one I wanted to use. Huh? You didn't know that?
I did not know that. He must have just got picked up.
We picked him up in the offseason.
Really?
I think we drafted him. No? I think he was undrafted.
Okay.
He's Julian Champagnie.
Yeah. I'd seen the Toronto Raptors brother. I'd seen him out there. I'd seen him play a little bit. But once you brought the brother up, I was like, oh snap.
I should use the Julian one because he hasn't played for us this year, I don't think.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known him, but I do know Justin plays for the Toronto Raptors. All right, I'll give you one more to end off. I'll give you one more.
Okay.
This name just came to my head, and you might know this one off the top of your head. This might be an easy one, but Wenyen Gabriel.
Washington.
You said that quick, and the crazy part is you're wrong.
Is it?
Yeah, I'll give you one more guess.
I was thinking about Daniel Gafford. I've heard that name multiple times.
Blazer legend Wenyen Gabriel.
He's played on Portland? Or he plays on Portland?
He has. In the bubble, he played for Portland. He started in the playoffs for Portland, which is atrocious. It's hideous.
Ooh. I had a team pop up. I'm not confident.
You want a hint?
Sure.
He plays on an underachieving team. A very underachieving team.
The Lakers.
Yeah, he plays for the Los Angeles Lakers.
I was thinking Daniel Gafford at first or something. I don't know.
How do you get those guys mixed up? The name?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
They're very different.
I've watched Washington. I think we played him twice, and the name sounded for me. It just went with Washington for some reason.
Yeah. That'll about do it for this episode, y'all. I know that this didn't have a whole lot of continuity. This is just kind of our brains just kind of spewing some things out and kind of giving y'all a glimpse of what our, like, maybe even our off-camera conversations go like sometimes. You know, we play these games off camera. These who we play for is we'll have some guess who's in the future. We'll have some like riddles and stuff. We'll have more fun stuff on the way to mix in with the news, which I expect to really ramp up in this next week. Homework team of the week is the Sacramento Kings. It's not the Indiana Pacers. It's the Beam team, Sacramento Kings. We hope to see that beam lit up more times over this next week. Hopefully they can keep this winning streak going.
Every team we've said has been doing pretty good. So hopefully might be the Lakers next week.
Yeah. I've been afraid of a fall off. I was really afraid of a fall off with the Thunder. And I guess they did lose their last 2 games. But the first game or two after we said watch them, they were really, really entertaining.
Yeah.
And the Jazz have still been really, really entertaining. So hopefully the Kings can keep up that trend, and I don't see a reason why they won't. Even if they lose some games, they'll be fun to watch because they score 1,000,000 points.
Yeah. Hopefully the streak continues this week.
The Beam Team. But if that's all you got, Jacob, for this episode, we'll go ahead and sign out, and we'll see y'all next week.
See ya.